Boy, there sure have been a lot of versions of Sonic over the years, but have you ever wondered which of these Sonics are scientifically, objectively the best? Well, you're in luck. Here are my picks for the top 10 iterations of Sonic the Hedgehog. Number 10. Sonic the Hedgehog. This controversial reimagining of Sonic takes place in a completely separate side franchise, which Sega has totally outsourced to other people, resulting in some truly fucking shit-ass games. Because, you know, the best way to repairing Sonic's shattered public image is to continue allowing absolute piece of shit garbage video games to come out. And in addition to the games, there's also a television series that I've never watched. Even though I'm not really a fan or particularly familiar with the Boom series, at all, I have to give it the number 10 spot for keeping Sonic alive for today's youth. I mean, what with the franchise's current reputation, if it wasn't for this show, there would probably be a lot more kids who don't even know what the fuck a Sonic is. Maybe the show isn't even that bad, I don't know. I've seen a few funny clips from it, and I know it made a reference to Chris Chan, which is pretty hilarious. But I just don't have time to watch a cartoon show about Sonic for kids. I'm a grown-ass man. Number 9. Sonic the Hedgehog. So I just did a full rewatch of this show, and boy, it's even worse than I remembered. In case you didn't know, the show stars Sonic and his brother Green Sonic and his sister Girl Sonic as they search for their long-lost mother, Queen Alina, using magical pendants which turn into instruments, and they play at least one full song per episode. Yeah, it's pretty much as bad as it sounds. This show is fucking insane, but I kind of like it just because it seriously feels like officially licensed fanfiction or something. The premise is just fucking bonkers. I'd really love to do a full video dissecting just what the fuck is going on in this show someday. By the way, all 3 main hedgehogs are voiced by Julia White, so just letting you know, if you ever jacked off to Sonia, you were literally jacking off to Urkel. One thing that made this show stand out to me was that it was the only Sonic cartoon of the era to feature Knuckles. Yo, what the fuck is even going on in this show? What the fuck? No, seriously, what the fuck is even happening right now? What the fuck? What the fuck? Number 8. Sonic the Hedgehog. I feel like modern Sonic is kind of an odd name for this character, considering he's been modern Sonic for nearly 2/3 of the series' history at this point. If anything, I feel like the Dreamcast era could kind of be considered its own separate entity. Sonic's design from that era looks slightly different too, but for the purposes of this list, I'm just going to stick with there being a classic and modern Sonic as established in Generations. So I didn't want to have to put modern Sonic this low on the list, because he stars in some games I really love, like Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, and some games that are actually good, like Sonic Generations and Colors. But this is also the Sonic from Sonic 2006, the Sonic from Shadow the Hedgehog. This is the Sonic from the era of bad Sonic games, and ultimately I just couldn't bring myself to rank him higher than the classic depiction of Sonic that is number 7. Number 7. Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, hurry up, Dingbot! I want to try this booze!
Wait, good stuff!
Don't you bots know liquor is bad for you?
Try it, kid!
Hold it! Only dumb bots drink liquor. Stay away from liquor, kids. Like all drugs, alcohol is dangerous, and you can get hooked. Just remember.
Yeah, I actually wasn't super into this cartoon as a kid. It's only as I've gotten older and rewatched it that I really started liking it. This show is consistently hilarious to me, both intentionally and unintentionally. And Long John Baldry is fucking glorious as Robotnik. Of course, the funniest parts were always the Sonic segments at the end of the episodes, so I'll play a couple more before moving on to the next entry on the list.
Sonic, help! I'm getting dizzy!
Now does that look like fun to you? If so, your brains are scrambled. Believe it or not, every year some ignorant kid takes a ride in a clothes dryer just like this one and ends up getting hurt. It gets pretty hot in there, and those dryer fins can break your bones when they get going. If you think it's smart to climb in a dryer, you're really all wet.
Kids, there's nothing more cool than being hugged by someone you like. But if someone tries to touch you in a place or in a way that makes you feel uncomfortable, that's no good. It's your body. No one has the right to touch you if you don't want them to. So what do? First, you say no. Then, you get out of there. Most important, you gotta tell someone you trust. Like your parents, your teacher, a police officer.
Number 6. Sonic the Hedgehog. I really enjoyed this show as a kid. Although the show is fairly lighthearted and mostly comedic in tone, it has this really dark and cool setting. Sonic has a very anti-authority and rebellious personality by nature, so it makes sense to give him something to actually rebel against as a freedom fighter sabotaging Robotnik. Although this show has an ominous setting and a few more serious moments, it never really comes close to anything resembling grim dark bullshit. Plus, I really enjoyed the supporting cast. The rest of the freedom fighters are good characters, and how can you not love Uncle Chuck and Mutsky? Also, I'm not including the Sonic from the comics on this list because, like I said, I haven't read the last 150 issues, but this is about where it'd be, since I always end up conflating the SatAM Sonic and the comic Sonic in my head anyways. Number 5. Metal Sonic. Metal Sonic is cool as shit, dog. Robots are cool, Sonic is cool. If you tried to testify under oath that Metal Sonic wasn't cool, you would go to fucking jail. The thing about Metal Sonic is that there are a ton of versions and interpretations of this guy over the years. Technically, Metal Sonic just refers to this guy from Sonic's CD. He's a recurring character and was the villain of Sonic Heroes. But there's also Mecha Sonic from Sonic and Knuckles, who's a separate robot that actually dies when Knuckles fights him. He's also totally the coolest version of Metal Sonic by far. There's also this guy from Sonic 2, who I can't actually find an official name for. Supposedly he's called Mecha Sonic 2, but I always just called him Silver Sonic in order to differentiate him from the Mecha Sonic and Sonic and Knuckles. Number 4. Mario. Alright, so everyone knows that Mario was created as an edgy and cool alternative in order to compete with the wholesome and family-friendly nature of Sonic. The suits at Nintendo saw how popular Sonic was and decided to make a slower and less cool version for all the gamers out there who were too intimidated by Sonic's extreme coolness or were simply too incompetent to handle the fast-paced gameplay of a Sonic game. The Mario games were actually really good, even if they were extremely derivative of the Sonic franchise. Unfortunately, Mario was just never able to capture the limelight like Sonic and was doomed to remain number 2 forever, stuck in Sonic's shadow. Man, I would hate to be a hardcore Mario fan, the kind of loser making Mario videos on YouTube years after it became apparent that he lost compared to Sonic. How embarrassing. Number 3. Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, do I really need to say anything? It's Sonic from the classic Genesis games. But just because he's classic doesn't mean he's gone. There's a brand new classic Sonic game coming out this year with Sonic Mania. And there's literally a character called Classic Sonic that appears in the modern Sonic games. I mean, that's pretty fucking weird when you think about it, right? Like, imagine if there was an episode of The Simpsons where modern Simpsons went back and interacted with classic Simpsons, and they could make all sorts of hilarious jokes like, remember when this show was still funny? Hey, don't forget about that time Classic Sonic appeared on The Simpsons.
How's that game gonna help your putting?
Just take it! Take it, take it, take it, take it, take it! Take it!
Hey, Bart, remember, if you see a gold brick lying around, just take it! Take it, take it, take it, take it! Take it!
Oh man, maybe I should have given the number 3 slot to Lego Sonic. Number 2. Sonic Man. I think it's safe to say everyone agrees that Sonic 06 is total fucking dog shit. I mean, it's been pretty exhaustively documented by this point. I don't need to belabor the point and tell you a million fucking things that suck about this game that you already know. No, instead I'm going to focus on the one part of Sonic 06 that's totally fucking awesome. Sonic Man. Yeah, he's technically not an iteration of Sonic, but the raw pathos in this one side character is astounding. His brief appearance touches on the nature of talent and being confronted with your physical limitations, the complex and rich themes related to idolatry and obsessive hero worship, which is itself actually some subtle meta-humor poking fun at Sonic's more overly enthusiastic fans. Not to mention he's just so downright cool. Even the way he runs is awesome. Wow, he's like some kind of ninja. The way it touches on the existential horror of his life, when you gotta go fast, but you're too slow. It's one of the deepest character studies I've ever seen in a modern work of fiction. This character is simply sublime. There's a reason that he's a beloved fan favorite, and was even featured in the Archie comics. Sonic 06 may have been a gigantic, irredeemable pile of fucking shit that literally permanently tarnished the name of the Sonic series, but it also may have given us debatably the greatest character in all of modern fiction. Number 1. Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog was the very first video game character ever to be included in the parade's history, thus definitively proving once and for all that he's the greatest video game character of all time. In 1994, he was the lead balloon. The lead balloon! Do you have any idea how prestigious that is? Sonic confirmed better than Mario! In fact, there have only ever been 4 video game characters to be featured in the parade. Sonic, Pikachu, Angry Burb, and Eruptor from Skylanders. Ah yes, who could forget the classic character of Eruptor from Skylanders? But it gets even better. During his debut in 1993, Sonic literally hit a lamppost and deflated. Watch the news report.
Annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade today. Winds gusting up to 20 miles an hour battered some of the parade's giant balloons. Poor Rex the dinosaur was blown into a light pole and he popped open. And later a gust of wind blew Sonic the Hedgehog into another light pole. That guy sprung a leak and fell to the street, knocked over a lamppost. A child and a police officer were hit, slightly injured, but they're okay tonight.
What's that? Sonic has literally injured a police officer in real life? Talk about being anti-authority. Sonic confirmed better than Mario! In 1995, he again hit a lamppost and deflated, but unfortunately did not injure anyone. By 1997, the float couldn't fly at all due to major wind damage, and it was retired after this year. But fear not, a new Sonic float was introduced in 2011, once again as the lead balloon. And of course, in the 2013 parade, his left arm got caught on a lamppost. However, he was able to be freed without any major damage. The float was retired after this parade. Anyways, that pretty much wraps it up for now. But who knows what incredible new Sonics we'll see in the years to come. What's that? You want to see my top 8 Eggmans? Eggmen? Well, I don't really have enough material for a whole video on that. That sounds like the kind of shitty video I'd have to put on my shitty shitpost channel. The kind of video that if you wanted to watch, you should click the shitty annotation on the screen or check the link in the shitty description.
Take a look, folks. Here's Sonic the Hedgehog. I just saw him on the 72nd Street, 77th and 72nd. Sponsored by Seagull of America. Flies above us right now at 6 feet tall and 26 feet wide. Check out my friend.
Ooh, baby, he's a super hog with massive size, 21 feet.
You know something? I bet he could flatten a cement mixer with one dainty little step.
Hey, Willard, don't tempt him.
You know, kids love old Sonic because he's the hippest and coolest thing around. He's very determined. Look at his nose.
I like him. He's got a cute dude, sort of a punk-looking hedgehog, isn't he? But then again, I guess all hedgehogs are punk.
Look, there's a shot. I think he likes it. Mikey likes it. Isn't that great?
He ran into some trouble last year because the winds were so high, but we're glad to see he's doing well this year. He's faster than the speed of sound. That's why they call him Sonic 3D Blast. Deal with it, he is the coolest. But when it comes to video game characters, dude, he's the hottest. Sonic is provided by Sega of America Incorporated, dude.
Hey, dude. Hey, Katie, let me tell you something. He is one happening hedgehog. Dink the rows of spiky quills down his back, all loosed up for today's parade, would you say?
As if, I'd say he's dropping some serious tune.
Dude! Oh, that's your line. You lost me, Katie. I don't even know where we are.
To say our totally tall hedgehogs high on helium would be an understatement. To bring his 64 by 26-foot frame to life, Sonic is fed nearly 19,000 cubic feet of helium, more than any other balloon in this parade.